Hey everyone, for today's Tip Tuesday, we're going to be pollinating flowers. So we had a request come through for that, and we thought today would be a perfect time or video to do Echeveria. And today I've picked Echeveria Bluebird. But before that, I just wanted to firstly apologize that we weren't able to upload a video for last Tip Tuesday. Unfortunately, our daughter broke her arm, and it has been quite an interesting week. She's very wild, so trying to keep her entertained and avoid her from running and dancing and all that sort of stuff to prevent any chances of falling on her arm. So it has been very interesting. But I just wanted to say thank you to everyone's well wishes and very kind words for her. We're very thankful for you all. So thanks, guys. We really appreciate it. But again, very sorry that we couldn't get a video up last week. So let's get into it. So I've picked Echeveria Bluebird. I've got two of the same variety, and they're looking amazing. Echeveria Bluebird, probably one of my favorite Echeverias. And I'm going to try pollinating the flowers this time round and trying to grow them from seed. I haven't had a lot of success from leaves, a very low percentage of the leaves striking. And you can do them from head chops, but you need a lot of the plant to get enough pups to really make it work. So we're going to have a go at seed, and hopefully we can, get some good seedlings germinated and just get a really good success rate like we did with our Romeo last spring when we did them. We pricked them out a few weeks ago and we ended up getting 300 seedlings. So that was absolutely fantastic, and I'm looking forward to getting stuck into Romeos again soon. Flowers haven't opened just yet, but they're coming and I'm getting excited. So I am just going to show you actually first what tools you'll need. So you will need some sticky tape. Unfortunately, I didn't bring any with me, but I'll tell you in a second why you would need them. So you need some scissors, and it's good just to trim off any of the dead. I did have a dead flower spike there. So if you have any dead flower spikes, it's good to trim them off, just to prevent any insects and fungal issues from coming in and trying to affect your plants. So it doesn't have anything to do with this video and pollinating flowers, but it's always good to remove the lower leaves, dead leaves of your plants, just to allow some good ventilation. Sorry, we just had a good gust of wind come through. Just to prevent any fungal issues as well, and insects from getting into. So removing those lower leaves, dead leaves, that will allow good ventilation. So really important, especially for Echeveria. And you'll need a marker. Yep, I've got it. Right there. So a permanent marker, or you can use a pencil. I tend to find that pencils will actually last a lot longer. Permanent markers will actually, the ink will actually fade after a little while on your labels. So yeah, up to you. Labels, we just use a plastic label that works well. Just try and avoid using something that's going to deteriorate, especially if it gets rained on or you water your plants and it gets wet. You can also use the blinds. We actually used that when we actually just started our nursery. And the little metal, they're quite a thin metal, and they work perfect as well. So that's another idea for you. And you can't forget paintbrush. So you can use any sort of paint. Oh, there we go. Any sort of paintbrush. I've just grabbed a heap here from Mrs. Succulent, who didn't need them anymore. So they're perfect for pollinating flowers. So, and that's pretty much all you're going to need. So what we're going to do is, I'll just bring this a little bit closer so you can see. So we've got some flowers here that have opened, just there. I don't think this is going to focus in very well, but I'll do my best. So inside the flowers, you'll see, if I try and open up these petals a little bit, you might be able to see a bit better. So just up against close to the petals, you'll see some yellow dots all the way around, and that is your stamen. So that's the male part of the flower, and they're the ones that are actually going to hold the pollen. And you'll see it looks like a little point in the middle, right? You can see the dark bit right there, and that's the stigma. So that's the female part of the flower, and that's where the seed will actually form the pods, in the pods there. And when I show you another plant later on, you'll see what that looks like once it's been pollinated. So all we're going to do is I'm just going to grab my paintbrush and I'm just going to brush all the pollen that's around those stamens. And then what you can do then is I just grab my other one, just here, so on my other plant, and then I'm just going to brush that pollen from the first plant onto the stigma here. And while I'm actually doing that, I'm actually collecting pollen from this flower off this plant, and then I'm just going to grab my first plant, and then I'm just going to brush the pollen against the stigmas on the flowers of this plant here. So you can do it, you know, a few times backwards and forwards. The more pollen that you can get on the stigma, the better. Increase your chances of seed happening, and the pods will start to swell. And that's it really. It's very, very easy to do that. And what will happen then is, I'll show you this next step. So I've got here an Echeveria agaboides red tips, and every now and then we will actually get a little native honey eaters. The little birds will come in, and they're actually been feeding on all the nectar of the flowers at the moment. And what it's actually done, it's actually pollinated some flowers for me. And the interesting bit will be, what will the plants be from these seeds? So I don't know whether it's collected pollen from, you know, while it's collected some nectar, it's actually collected a bit of pollen as well and spread it from different flowers. So I'm interested to see whether it'll actually be red tips or it'll actually be a cross of something else. So I'm actually going to keep these flowers and have a go at germinating them, the seed, when I collect them. So what you'll notice, so once they've been, your flowers have been pollinated, then you'll start to notice your petals will start to die off, and they'll start to really open up like that. And then you'll start to see some little swelling bits. It's not very good at focusing there, but you'll start to see some green bits here, and that's the seed pods forming. So there's some swelling happening there, and they're full of seed inside. And what you're going to do, that's going to take about 2 months, around 2 months before you can actually harvest the seed from those pods. So what you want to do is allow those seed pods to die, the flowers to die, well, the actual flower spike as well. And then after it, you know, gets to around 2 months, depends on the plant, you'll start to know some small little split happening on the pods. And that's actually time that the pod is actually getting ready to disperse its seed. And that's the perfect time to harvest those pods to collect those seeds. Then what you want to do then is try and strain as much and remove as much of the parts of the flower that you've collected from the actual seed, because when it comes time to sowing those seed, you don't want to have any dead parts of the flower in the same mix with the seed, because you have high chances of fungal problems getting in, and it can actually wipe out the whole of your seed, whatever germinates. So very important to sift that out as best as you can. I personally prefer to sow the seed not long after I harvest them. So I clean all the bits of the dead flowers off the seed, away from the seed, and I'll actually sow it straight away. And yeah, and then you just got to wait. It can take a few weeks before you start seeing little tiny green little pricks coming up, and you'll notice that you're getting some little seedlings coming through. So why are you going to need your plant label? Well, it's important, once you've pollinated your flower, it's important to grab your sticky tape and wrap the plant label around the flower spike, so you know. It's very important if you're actually crossing other varieties of Echeveria with, say, your bluebird, so then you know what you've done. So I accidentally didn't label one, and I thought it was Agaboides ebony, and turns out it's actually looking like Echeveria Mexican giant. So very important to label your flower spikes or your flowers, so you know what it is. And yeah, so when I label it, I don't really worry about the day of when I pollinated or collected the seed. I just write the month, so August, and the year 2021, and that's it really. So yeah, then hopefully you'll get lots of seedlings coming up from the seed that you've sowed and collected. So yeah, hopefully you found that helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know. We'll try to get to them as quickly as possible. If you're enjoying our videos or loving them, please like, subscribe to our channel. If you have any other topics that you'd like us to go through in the future, let us know. We'll add them to our list, and then we can share our experiences with you on those. But yeah, have a great week. Hopefully you're getting some rain. We're just starting to get another shower now. It's been beautiful. I think we've had about 30 to 40 mil. Just keep filling up our big tank that we put in around, I think it was May. And it's almost half full, which is really exciting going into spring and summer. Hopefully we can continue to get this sort of rain, and in no time that tank will be overflowing, and I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, hopefully you're all well, and yeah, we'll catch you at the next Tip Tuesday. See yous.